Alrighty, so I just saw Companion came out on streaming a couple days ago. I did not see it in theater, so a couple weeks late, I suppose. With the rate that movies are coming out digitally, it seems almost pointless, kind of, to go see a movie in the theater. I mean, this movie came out 3 weeks ago, maybe, and is already out on streaming. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Same with Wolfman. It came out on streaming quick. But first thing I want to say is the second trailer for this movie completely ruined the twist, and it's aggravating because the first, I'd say, act of the movie, roughly, is very reliant that you don't know what the twist is. But they couldn't help themselves but to spoil it in that second trailer, which the first trailer left it ambiguous enough. You could have just left it at that. People would have gone and watched it, but you couldn't help yourself. And so, knowing, that, I mean, there's really no other twists in the movie. There's a semi twist, which when I talk about spoilers, I'll talk about. But it's so predictable. And I know it makes me sound like such a movie snob a hole. But yeah, once you get past the little twist part in the first act, it really just dies down to the most predictable thing. I really hate them for that, and it honestly knocked a point off for me because it's not like the trailer is just being made by a complete third party that's not spoken to the movie studio at all. It's a third party or within the studio company that has discussed with the people who made the movie, and why they decided to do that, I really just don't. I do not understand. Um, Overall, and it's hard because without getting into spoilers, it's a pretty good movie. I think people are glazing it way too much. Way too much. I think the twist you find out in the beginning should have been saved for more of a middle portion of the movie, and then you could have had the third act be what the third act in the movie is now, except in this movie, it's like the second and third act are all kind of the same thing. So I think it would have been better as like that's the ending. Like, whoa, hey, you find out the twist, and then you're like, oh, it's like nonstop, horror action kind of. But without spoiling too much, it's a fine movie about, I would almost say, like domestic situations and relationships and how far people would go for a certain objective. I thought for the most part, the acting is good. I find it kind of weird. I mean, I guess it's not too many roles, but this maybe typecasting Jack Quaid as a villain, Goofy. They have him kind of as like the nerd villain, which is really odd. Um, I think this movie, just like Heretic, oddly enough, which though Sophie Thatcher is in, um, is real good for the first portion, and then just kind of like a movie is trying to be more than it is, but then once the twist or kind of just like a peak point has been reached, it just really dies down and loses a lot of goodwill. I think watching it, someone if they're like, "What's that?" Oh, I don't know. I've not seen the trailer or anything. Be like, "Don't Google it. We're gonna watch it." I think they would enjoy this movie a lot more because of the twist, and if they haven't really watched movies like this. Um, I'm probably just gonna start talking about spoilers because it's nearly impossible. So on Letterbox, I gave this a 3 out of 5. So 3 being expectations met. It's fine movie. I gave it a half a point above because of the twist being neat, but it didn't go any more than that because of how stupid they were to spoil the twist in the trailer. And I had heard other people say, "Oh, I mean, still give it a chance. There's other twists, other twists." And as I'm watching, I'm like, "Let me guess, it's this, this, this." And wow, wouldn't you know it, it's that, that, that. So it's just a fine time. But yeah, I will leave it at that. I'm gonna go into spoilers now. So now on to spoilers. Again, the twist. She's a robot. Um, wish I wouldn't have been spoiled that in the trailer. And it's not because well, don't go watch the trailer. I didn't go look for the trailer. I was scrolling through TikTok, and bam, the ad starts right with that. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Ah, really? Um, she's a robot. They spoil that in the trailer, but the first act tries so hard and acts like you don't know that, even though that was the huge thing they marketed. And the poster has her with her yellow eyes, white eyes, and so I kept going. Why would you try this hard to be this like cool, subtle with the dialogue for the first act if you're just going to spoil it in the trailer anyways? It's so dumb. It really, really aggravates me that they did that, and that's why it probably just like kind of ruined most of the movie for me. Um, the whole thing is like it's like a companion robot, and you can set its settings like strength, intelligence, personality, eye color, whatever, and so the boyfriend can control her. And so I'm sure the themes of the movie are about relationships and abuse, power dynamics, control. In this case, of course, it's a male human controlling a robot female, uh, who the AI is so crazy where it's suspensive disbelief because it's like your average, I don't know, what is it, Carvana, where you put the damn coin in and woo, dude, the car's coming down. It's like that levels of easy access to a companion robot where they're just like, dude, here you go. Oh, you can rent it. All right, here's this human-like robot with AI that where it thinks it's human, and we've programmed it to think it's human. Can't nothing can go wrong there. Oh, we know everyone's just not gonna read through our user agreement. Just sign it. Okay. It can't. It's basically like iRobot, where it's like the three laws of robotics. Well, it can't hurt other companion bots. It can't hurt humans. Blah blah blah. And then the main character just is like, oh yeah, I have a modded USB, modded through it, but they don't seem like that smart people. So it's almost like they're saying like your average dude on Google was able to easily find a mod to mod it that fast, that easy. And you're like, huh? I mean, I guess from what they're portraying, of course, they don't show the outside world, so we can't really gauge how scientific it is or technology driven they are. But we see enough of self driving cars, and of course the companion bots. And so you're like, okay, this is clearly somewhere in the future, probably. But it just doesn't make sense to me where they're so casual about people renting or buying these companion bots and modifying their intelligence and stuff, but they can even mod it and surpass that and like basically jailbreak their companion bot, which sounds dangerous because that's spoilers. The whole plot of the movie is they rigged her to basically kill this rich guy that they're staying with, to steal all of his money, and of course, the creepy Russian guy's house that they're at, the guy tries to basically assault um, the robot girl, and so she defends herself and kills him. And that's about when you learn that she's a robot because he says, "Iris, go to sleep." Beep. Um, the movie, it also, random tangent, has like comedic cuts almost, where it's saying something and then it cuts to like a different scene and it's a comedic sound or a comedic face or whatever. So I found it weird that they did that a few times and then just completely stopped. I was like, okay, I'm not fully understanding what kind of like tone you want, because it's supposed to be uber serious and then it'll be like funny, quirky, hard cut to this funny thing, and you're like, okay. Like one scene, it cuts to him basically on top of her while they're having sex, and he makes the goofiest face and just like has the goofiest scream, and I was like, I know that's meant to be funny, but it feels very random with the tone you've been setting. Um, but yes, and right in the beginning, like title crawl basically, she's like, the happiest days of my life is when I met my boyfriend and when I killed him. So you go, and I obviously movies have done that. There's plenty of movies where the ending scene of the movie is the beginning. And they're like, here's how I got here. And what deflates it for me with almost all of those movies is it's so when it's so literal. In this movie, she says, when I killed him, and at the end of the movie, she kills him. And so when there's like the ending portion where she's caught by him and he's setting her arm on fire and about to kill her, basically, she's going to somehow kill him. And so part of you is like, is it going to be something clever, like her AI was uploaded to something like the house and she traps him in the house, and since it's the future, she uses things in the house to kill him or something? No, it's very literal. She kills him. And so it really just deflated for me, where there was no hidden meaning or creativity. It was, oh, the day I killed him, and she kills him. So everything before that point, I didn't really feel tense or anything, because I'm like, well, I know she's gonna get out of it. I know she's gonna kill him. So why do I care? Um, I think they could have easily removed that, easily, and it would have set up a little bit more suspense of like, how is she gonna get out of this one? Um, I do like that they do show, like when she's thinking, she ups her intelligence and she visualizes scenarios in her head. I did like that. Of course, you know when people maybe say like, oh, there's another twist. Another person in their party is a robot, and I was like, I looked at my wife. I was like, I bet you one of these people, besides her, is a robot. And wouldn't you know it, the gay couple, the main guy, like, what's like the friend, his, partner, is a robot. And I was like, of course, because they show him as like an amazing cook and very docile and very like, order following to his boyfriend or husband. Um, and I was like, I bet you he's a robot. And he is. And now they do, some cool stuff where it's almost Terminator esque. I was like, I wish we could have seen a little bit more of that. And, I don't know if it would have copied Terminator too much, but seeing more of their robotic body, I think would have been cool. At the end, she takes off her burnt skin and she sees her cybernetic arm. I think it would have been cool to see a little bit more of that. Um, yeah, I feel odd about this movie. Again, the first act, where you don't know, it's so good. Such a like, what is this setting up? Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then it just becomes chase in the woods, kind of just predictable things, the predictable villain, he has a gun and has the opportunity to kill her, but it's like, I'm gonna monologue, ooh, and it's like, 6 seconds, cock the gun. I'm just gonna wait. Even though you've made my life a living hell and I'm the villain, I could just have shot you 30 seconds ago. Oh, but he enough time for her to kill him, and it's just eye rolling things like that. And I told my wife, I'm like, I don't know if it's because I've just seen so many movies, or I don't know, like, I never try to come off as like overly critical, but every movie I watch lately, I'm just, especially new movies, because I've seen so many, I guess it just starts to feel very repetitive, or you know I can predict most, like, the ending of the movie and stuff, because of it, which is unfortunate. um Again, acting was good, dialogue was mostly good, sometimes very cringy. I just wanted to see more of the cool robot features, because at one point she gets the phone that he uses as a controller, and she's like changing her settings where she can, she's like changing her eye color and her voice and pitch, and it just reminded me of character creation menus in video games. And I was like, ooh, that's a cool scene. I want to see more of that. Um, sadly not. Sadly not. Um, yeah. Out of five, again, I reviewed it on Letterboxd. I gave it a three and a half. I just think it's an all right film. I'd probably watch it again with a family member or friends who don't know anything about it. Otherwise, it. I'm not buying this on Blu-ray. I don't really care to watch it again. If I want to watch a movie like this, or sorry, the idea of this movie, I'd rather just watch Ex Machina. So yeah, and if you haven't seen Ex Machina, watch that. That's a pretty cool movie. So I guess until next time, that is going to be it. Thank you for sticking by watching, and yeah, until the next review, I'm out. Thank you.